Welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I am your host. And I'm here today with my co-host, Crystal the Pistol.
Hello.
And we have two special guests today. So we've got Grace Crow. She is the owner of Stonebridge Running in Dixon, Illinois. And Jen Heller, who just got done finishing Hennepin 100-mile race. And was that your first 100, Jen, or not? Second. Congrats. So and then I should also mention that Grace runs a few aid stations at Hennepin. They used to the Yeti Running Club and Stonebridge Running Store used to run 3 aid stations at Hennepin, and now 724 Fitness on the Rack took over one of those. But you still got 2 big aid stations.
Yeah, aid station 2 and aid station 10-12, and the 50-mile finish.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess really 3, because the 50-mile finish is its own whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And 724 Fitness on the Rock are friends of ours, so I went there as well and helped them with setup and all that good stuff too. So.
Yeah, I wish I could have stopped by and seen them. We had Taggart running the 50, and I was just hoping I was going to beat him to the 50-mile finish line after the start of the race. But so we just kind of want to get to know both of you guys, how you got I'd like to hear about the running store, like when how you got involved with Hennepin and all of that. Like should we start first with when you started your running store?
Sure. We've been here 3.5 years now. We're downtown Dixon. Perfect location in between all of the stores that are an hour and 5 minutes around us. So we're the exact middle of stores in the Quad Cities, in Rockford, and in Naperville. It's been fun, and it's come a long way. Jen joined us a year ago. It was a year ago last Thursday. She came in here all the time as a customer. She would come in here just on her runs. Is it 5 miles from your house?
Yep.
5 miles from her front door to the shop front door. So she would come in here on her runs to get water, use bathroom, or whatever she needed. And so we've become friends that way. And then when I needed somebody to start taking over some hours, she joined me. So.
That's so great.
Awesome.
I did not realize that you started working there, Jen. I can't think of anybody more perfect. Grace is super duper lucky. I know how important that is to have. I got Nikki at the shop, who's awesome too. So
I like to joke that I tell people, I'm like, I was in here so much, she just hired me. Like I just like, I can hire you. You're here all the time. So.
Well, that's great.
Well, and she crewed me for my first 100 last year too. So we kind of got really close. So
what was your first 100? I have a feeling I know.
It was a Hennepin 100 virtual.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That is super. I am so impressed by the people that did that virtually. I can't even imagine 100 miles. How did that work? Where did you do it at?
Well, the Yetis put together something, because Leslie Yetis. So, so there was a group of us who just decided we're going to keep on running and do it. And so we did it at the park in Dixon. And so we had some people there, but mostly it was like Grace and my husband who crewed and helped me and kept me going. So it was like 4 to 5 mile loops that just kept coming in. Same scenery over and over again.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Yeah.
You should have got a Cherry Pop shirt this year then. I feel like you earned one. Did you grab one at the finish?
No, but I got a really cool, I got mine when I did the 2019 50K at Hennepin. So
yeah. Well, good. Yeah. And then Grace, how about your aid station? Like how, I know you guys go out ahead of time to plan, and like, tell us about how you set that all up.
Oh yeah, so this was I think it was my 6th year being involved. I did everything but your first year of Hennepin. I've been involved ever since. It's kind of escalated from the first year, what I take over and oversee. But yeah, now luckily we've done it enough that we don't have to go out and do a ton of planning before, other than just making sure we have people in place. Over the years, we've slowly purchased everything, including the couch that we had out there.
Yes, I heard about
coolest.
that.
I should
Yep.
see if I can find a picture of that and show it on the screen. That
Yep.
that was the IDNR was really impressed with the blow up lounge.
Yep. We've been asked now if the couch is making appearance at events. Not are we going to be there, which cracks me up. But yeah, we oversee between the Yetis and Stonebridge Running, we oversee Aid Station 2. I helped Aid Station 1 get their supplies and their setup, and then 10, 12, and it ended up being an 18-hour day for a good few of us. We go out there on Friday, we do all the setup work, get all the tents set up, do all the lighting and all of that. And we've already made our list for next year, what we need to get purchased so we can make it even bigger.
Oh, it's so
Awesome.
nice. It's really super amazing. Did you get to hang out there for a bit, Crystal?
No, I didn't go. You showed me the picture of the couch, and I was like, darn it, I should have gone.
We had an awesome team this year. Everybody was able to volunteer for the whole day. So they actually came from Aid Station 2 and brought all of our supplies from there over. We had at least 6, maybe 8 people that stayed for the entirety of the day, where before we've had it broken up into different sections depending on what people need to do. But having all those people there for the entire day was so helpful.
Yeah, it's funny on my side. I will get just a big wave of volunteers signing up, and I open it up. It's like Yeti.
Yep.
And I send them all the message of hey, you guys need to get this filled out for Michelle, please.
It just makes it easier for us to plan if we
get this to Michelle, please.
Has your volunteer base grown a lot?
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely has. And our big push is, between Jen and myself and Keith, who's the other one that's really involved, is that if you're participating in events, you have to equally participate in volunteering. And so we had a really big group of people that stepped up to that this year that really, a lot of them really haven't volunteered much before, or at least in not this grand of a thing. So
yeah, I thought when I looked at your guys' list, you guys didn't I printed out something to put on each of the volunteer boxes, and I had to make your guys' font real small so that everything would fit on there.
Yeah, we had so much food this year. We blew our generators multiple times, so that is on the list, is to have a 3rd generator next year. So we had so many crack pots and roasters going, and almost all the food was gone for the most part of the homemade stuff that we brought with us. So shout out to all those volunteers that make everything, because that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I heard at the finish line, somebody was telling me that it was they had the best chili they had ever had there, and they even took a picture of it during their run because it was so good.
That's Willie Manger made that.
Yeah. And
then we had so much food, we were getting sick of listing off what we had, and so we took one of the boards from somewhere and wrote a menu board, and Jen read it in a post saying that somebody's like, I love that they had a menu board, so that's on my list of stuff we got to do from going forward.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. We just were getting sick of being we have mashed potatoes, we have chicken noodle soup, we have vegetable soup, we got chili, we got this, and listing everything off, and finally we're just I'll just write it on the board.
Well, and you come in and you're tired and you're like, what do you got? So I think it's nice to look and go, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Crystal didn't stop by, because I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have came to the finish line and helped me if she had. And I needed all the help I could get. But how about you, Jen? So you got to you volunteered at the Hennepin in the past, right? Oh, you haven't.
And I've said I will give back next year. I'm due to give back. So.
Oh, I'm not volunteer shaming you at all.
I lecture everyone saying if you're gonna take, you got to give back.
Yeah.
So Yes, I will be there next year as a volunteer.
Yeah, I know you give back to a lot of stuff, but it must have been nice for you to get to come in. I mean, did you know everybody on the course as you were running through?
Yeah, I knew a lot, and I was actually nervous to come into the Yeti aid station because I was like, this is going to be a suck zone because I'm not going to want to leave them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was afraid of, just wanting to stay with them, It's my people.
Yeah.
They're awesome. So,
Yep.
But they were really great at kicking me right out. So
Yeah. It's like, I love you, get your butt out of here.
Exactly.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
they're like, great job.
Right.
We'll see you later. Go. Bye.
Your race seemed to go really well. You want to, like, your time was great, like 26 hours. That's super impressive.
It did go really well. I did a 3-minute run. Wait, no, I just forgot it.
You
No,
did a minute.
2-minute run, 3-minute walk, with the gym boss. So, and I kept it all the way through.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
there was like 2 miles from like mile 97 to 98, I think, maybe, or 99. No, not 9. I don't know. Right towards the end, I was like, oh, I can't. And then Matthias was my cameraman, was my pacer, and he kind of just started chirping. You don't want to stop now. You've kept this entire time. Don't give it up now. And so I started running again. So I was able to keep a run going the entire 100 miles. So
that is a great plan. There's so many people at Hennepin that do very well on that run walk.
Oh yeah.
That longer walk ratio really kept me. It was great for the recovery, and it just kept me going. It was really good. So I was really happy with it, and my legs were good. I mean, obviously some soreness, but overall nothing hurt really bad. And so I was like, let's just keep going. So I was really happy. I wanted to get it in 27 hours. And so when I saw the clock, I was really excited.
Oh, that's great. And it was pretty hot and humid. I mean, it wasn't the easiest day. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, that heat did get to me. It did cause some problems, but
Did you train that run walk?
Yes, I did. All my long runs were trained with that. So I played with it a few times. Like I had it shorter, longer. And so it was actually right at the end, I decided to stick with that number. So, and then at one point in time, I thought I'm going to have to change it because of the heat. And I thought, well, when I have to, I'll do it. But I never did lower it or change it. So that heat was very difficult. It played a really big role in trying with nutrition. So that was where I had the biggest struggle, was nutrition. So.
Yeah. How did you handle nutrition?
There wasn't a lot of it in the last half. So 15 miles, I don't recommend it, but it was just eating some soup here and there, but I didn't do a lot of eating in the last half. So
it just didn't look good. I know it gets hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, I wasn't having it, and did the best I could. And I had a really great pacer who would try and help me and stuff with foods and stuff, but just did the best we could and go from there.
So even like coming into the Yeti station, like Willie's chili and
No, the Yeti aid station actually was a big help. They had got me a big old thing of chicken noodle soup, and that was huge. I was able to eat that, and that probably carried me through that race. So
yeah, well, congratulations.
Homemade, yeah.
Thanks to Dan and Stumpin' Horse. Yeah.
Who made it?
Dan and Sandy Stumpin' Horse.
Oh, that's so nice of them. Super cool.
And then he went and paced me for 7
And
miles.
then he paced her.
Nice.
So what was the hardest part of the Hennepin 100 for you then, Jen?
The heat was the hardest part of nutrition. So, and getting into trail running and doing all the flat was a little difficult,
Yeah.
Thinking about using that same muscle group over and over again. I maybe would have trained more flats. So, future reference, it'd be more flat training.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't ready for that heat. And they kept saying, well, it's going to be night. The sun's going to go down. It's going to get better. And so I made a big mistake, which Grace has pointed out a few times, and said, we're not going to do that again. Because she's crewing me. She usually tries to crew me. She'll be crewing me my next race. is I didn't wear sunscreen. So
Big mistake.
yeah, so I was sunburned. So when night came, they're like, "Are you cooling off?" I'm like, "No, I'm still burning up. I'm so hot. I feel like I'm burning up." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm sunburned." And they're like, "Oh crap." And I'm like, "Sorry." So
Well, it didn't really cool down at night. It actually got a little hotter and more humid.
It was the humidity was awful.
Yeah, and it was like, did the air just stop moving? Because I felt like there was no breeze, and I was like, this is gross. So I don't know. And what was with all the cobwebs? Like
I heard about some epic spiders out on course.
Like, I could see if there's trees on both sides of us that they would, but I'm like, where are they going with this? I mean, even my piecer was like, oh, in my mouth. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. I'm like, I'm not imagining this, right? So
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Did you see Corey Reese at one of the bathrooms found a floating toilet paper roll in a spider web, and then he looked in the toilet paper roll and there was a gigantic spider on the inside of it.
Believe it. Yeah. I'm like, I don't even want to know the size of these spiders by the thickness of the webs, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God I can't see this. So
you don't even want to know how many are around.
Well, you need to be back in that more like 28, 29 hour range, and then everybody could break through it first, but you were kind of out in front.
Yeah, I was excited because I was like, well, I was staying up and I was, kind of going and didn't have anyone in front of me and kept going. And then I'm like, downside is I'm breaking through the webs. So I was like, oh, where's everyone? But we were all together. We just nicely all spaced together, and those spiders are quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you win an age group award? That seems like age group area. It was a very stacked field, so but that's still on some years that definitely would be in there.
I'm in that magic number now. But it's funny, in 2019 I had a kid who I helped, I picked him up like right at the end of a 50K. He had no headlamp, and I was like, oh well, you're with me now, kid, let's go.
Yeah.
And I say my daughter's age, so and so he's running with me, whatever, and we get him through, and we're coming up and he's like, are we there yet? I'm like, oh. So we finish, and I was like, oh, excited, woo woo, and I see him, he gets an age group award. I'm like, oh. You're welcome. Here's yours. And I'm like, be quiet. I don't.
Her husband's shirt has gone viral. That he wore out at Hennepin 100.
I saw it.
What was his shirt? How did it go viral? I want to hear about it.
It has had so many people take pictures of it
that I've convinced Grace to sell them at the store.
Back of it says, I don't run ultras.
No, it says, I don't do ultras. I do an ultra runner.
It has been everywhere.
Yes.
He was in a running group and they said, all right, whose husband is this? And I'm like, no, it's mine. And in the front says 0.0, I hate running. And when somebody said, are you going to run her in? You can run her in. And he goes, you see this 0.0? I plan on keeping that.
Yeah. So everybody's Stonebridge running, looking for Christmas gifts.
I saw it everywhere. I saw it in multiple places that I'm not even like a member of the group. I saw it posted. I'm like, this is the funniest shirt.
Somebody shared it and they said this was in our Pennsylvania running group. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that he went viral. I ran the miles, made the shirt, but why not? Why can't he not?
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with that? He stood there and probably ate food at aid stations all day.
I'll give him credit. He did crew me, and that my crew did work their butts off.
Yeah, crewing is definitely a lot of work.
Crewing is a ton of work.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just gotta say, I mean, like my finish didn't happen without a really good crew. So
yeah. And Grace, you are like an expert crew person. Like you come like labeled and prepared. You want to talk about how you set up, like what you show up for as crew master.
Well, I'm a way better crew person than I am a runner. So I partake in both. I'm a way better crew person. It probably does have to do with my organization skills. And yes, we have an entire box, a tote, whatever you would call it, that gets wheeled out. You don't have to carry it. It gets wheeled out. And I've got different containers. So I get everything lined up exactly as I need it. So you can pull things super easy. That container's been at plenty of events, including Leadville. We use it out at Leadville. And the one year that I was crewing out there and I was getting it packed, I was rearranging the way that the runner had it so that I knew where everything was. And so I asked, it was Keith, and I'm like, so like, do you mind if I like touch your underwear? Cause it's kind of weird, but like at the same time, I need it to be in a different place. And he's like, I don't care, do whatever you want. So I really enjoy crewing. It's very fun.
I think that I like crewing a lot too. And I mean, you get to enjoy the landscape, and it's so fun to help people reach their goals.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the most important, like for your crew kit, what's the most important, the thing that the people need the most?
Well, for Jen specifically, it's nutrition. Her nutrition has always lacked. We did really great when she did the virtual last year. She did great with it, but like she said, the heat really got her this year, and I was not there to get on top of her before that happened, but that's okay. Her crew did a great job. But really it's very specific to the person. You know, I've got a list that kind of goes with me of the different things, and depending on what it is. So like as soon as she was talking about how she was hot, it was like, well, yeah, because the first thing I made Keith do, no matter if he wanted to or not, when we were at Leadville, was put sunscreen on and put chapstick on. Yep, those were two. He did not leave me at our stations until he had sunscreen and chapstick. And at Leadville, it's a very time constraint, so he would only be in for 3 or 4 minutes, and but that was top. But nutrition's one of the biggest. Making sure they eat.
What about, are you like a foot master, like of how you set up people's feet, or?
Well, yes and no. I could not get Keith's shoes untied the one year. I was like, Keith, I'm sorry. I know you're so tired and you're in a hurry, but I can't figure this out. You got to do this. But for her, when she did her virtual, I actually was multitasking. My shop was open at the same time and she was out running her miles. It was early in the day, and so other people were taking care of her at the beginning part, and they were messaging me saying, Jen's having problems with her shoes. Here's where she's having them. And I was sending them how to relace her shoes while I was there. Of like, okay, try this way. I think this is what she needs. And that's what we ended up. By the time I got there, it was all solved. So
Nice. That's awesome.
She's great. She was really great. She knew what I needed when I would come in. She just like, okay, while you're eating, I'm just gonna start rolling you out, like, you know, or whatever. And just asking her, like, and I came in one time, I'm like, I gotta tell her, I think I can't do any more of this. And she'd be like, hey, you're done with that because you can't have any more of that. I'm like, oh, well, she already knew that. So yeah. She's agreed to do Potawatomi with me. So I'm so excited. She's gonna crew me for that. So.
Yay!
Good. Yeah, Potawatomi is a fun crew one because it's so comfortable to get to hang out in one spot. Right? Not like Leadville where you're like walking 5 miles to get.
Right. Yeah, and then the one year at Leadville, we had to take the bus over, and
oh gosh, yes, the bus.
We got stranded the one year because we had no cell reception, and the shuttle service stopped, and we just hung out until they sent people to pick us up. So
that's right. I remember that happening. I remember that happening to you guys.
Yeah.
Crystal and I were on the bus that got out, but the guy was like talking about running over people.
Oh my gosh. That was such a terrifying bus ride.
He was like, "Oh, I get 10 points if I hit them," and he was like he was
like, "Oh God!"
And he looked like he might just do it.
He was like going way too fast for that back road too. And I remember looking at Kaylee and being like, "This could be it." So
it's terrifying the way that the locals drive.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they quit doing it after that year because
I
it was.
heard that this past year that they didn't crew out there.
That's what I forgot is that called? What's the name of that
That's
turnaround?
Winfield.
Winfield. Okay. Yeah.
So they don't have crew out there anymore?
They didn't allow it this year. I don't know if that was just a COVID thing or if there was some weather related thing or whatever, but yeah, they didn't allow that this year.
Oh no.
Just on a regular drive out there, it's a bit terrifying. I drove out there with Scott Loddick when I helped him when he photographed one year, and that road's scary.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Especially when you don't know how you're getting back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine.
We knew that somebody would come, and it wasn't just us. There was like maybe, I don't know, 100, 150 people that were still standing there because you had all your crew, and then you had all your runners that came in, and then you had the people that were waiting in line, and we recognized right away, like, why wait in line? We're gonna be stuck here a long time, and we were the last group of people to head out. We waited for the last vehicle.
Yeah. Was it getting cold or anything while you were out there?
Oh yeah, thankfully, since we weren't sure exactly what would play out for the evening, I had brought my winter coat and I brought my runner's winter gear. So we had that out there. And we did go scavenge because they actually cleaned up the aid stations and left. I mean, of course they would because it closed at whatever time. And here it's 2 hours later. And they were taking people with them as they went, as they were cleaning it up. But we went and scavenged it before they left. So I had some of the silver blankets that we put on, and thankfully we had a chair. And so we had found some pretzels and a few waters. And it was like, well, Keith, I know you're super hungry, but this is all I've got are like 5 granola bars, and everybody's got to split them. So.
You just ran 50 miles, and you can sit here in the cold.
I don't know how long they've been sitting here, but go ahead and eat those. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Ration yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
They eventually came and got everybody. I mean, they were the person that actually drove us back into get our vehicle. He was the spouse of the Leadville police chief. And he said they were calling everybody to just send out anybody that would have a car that could just go pick somebody up. And so he showed up and he's like, are you guys last group? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, all right, go ahead and get in. He was not amused to be doing that. It was getting late and it was a long drive. I know it was like, maybe 45 minutes from where we were at to where our vehicles were. And so, yeah. And then probably another 20 minutes, half an hour or so for him to get home from where we were. So, yeah.
That's a pretty funny story. I mean, one thing that's kind of cool about it though, and it kind of reminds me of Hennepin, is just like how, because Leadville's been so important to those towns there. It's like really made what they are. Oh, yeah. And the whole community, they're like, just started calling up each person, and everybody just is like, we need to take care of these runners that help take care of our town. I mean, and even at Hennepin, the mayor of Kelowna, he ran out to your aid station to pick up runners.
Yeah, awesome. We had a few of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he started grabbing drop bags and like dropping them off places, and we put them to work.
Yeah, it all started because someone was looking for a ride to somewhere, so he could pay. It was Paul from the Run Junkies. He was looking for a ride to, I don't remember where. I think 714. So he could start pacing someone, and we're like looking, and the mayor's like, I'll do it. And then he's out there, and while he's out there, he's picking up runners and picking up stuff, and he was so nice about it. It was so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Just so awesome.
Mm-hmm. He was the mayor that wanted to do have a beer garden party and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Michelle?
Oh, for sure. Next year, he wanted to hire a band. Have a beer garden, like, because he's the new mayor, and we didn't really know what would happen because Kelowna just takes such great care of the run. Like they get so excited about people running into town, and the old mayor, we knew that they did a lot for the race. So then the new mayor came along, and we're like, well, what's he gonna do? And he's like, let me hire a band, no cost to you. I don't have to do anything. Let's do a beer garden, but. We couldn't, with COVID this year, we just didn't know what would happen. And so we're going to work on that earlier. I thought it was kind of cool the way we did it this year. I did like it in front of the fire station where we got to all be outside. But if it was raining, that would be hard. But I wish it could just be like that every time and we could all be outside and have it right there.
It has rained every single hennepin I have participated in, I swear.
It's not supposed to.
Yes. I know, right? I know. And like 2 years ago, it poured on us at 10:12. It poured while we set up, like to the point that the gravel was like just a sloshy, disgusting mess. We were just awful for the whole day, but it never really hit our runners because it was just far enough ahead of them because we were out there so early to set up that it hit us and we were soaked, but it stayed away from them for a while. Then it did rain again. But
it didn't rain a lot this year. Did you get rained on this? Yeah.
You didn't? We did at 10:12.
I got misted on once and I was like, please more. I wanted to get more. And no, nothing.
Yeah, it rained at 10:12 for a little bit, mostly early on during setup stuff, but it helped calm the humidity for a little while.
Yeah.
Really? It was so humid at night.
I know, but I said a little bit. Not for the whole night, but a little while.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how hot it was overnight because at Kettle, which was just the hottest race that I've ever race directed for sure this year, at night I was freezing. Like my husband had to go find a coat because I didn't pack a coat because I'm like, it's going to be like 115 degrees today. I don't think I'm going to need a coat even at night. And then I was absolutely totally freezing. So he got me a coat and it took me a while to take it off in the morning. At Hennepin this year, I got hot and I was fine all day. And when I got night, I actually got hotter. So I'm super impressed with how everybody, how well you handled that, Jen.
Thank you. That was an extra challenge.
And you coach as well, right?
Yeah.
So did you coach yourself? Did you write your own training plan?
I did. So.
And then she had another friend of ours, Matthias, that kept her in check, gave her some accountability, even though it was her plan. He made sure that she was doing what she needed.
Coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was do you have any tips on like how you trained, like what worked, like how much mileage do you think you need to finish 100?
I'm a big fan that women do not need the heavy mileage. They just need quality miles, not heavy miles. So that worked out for me to stay injury free, coming in injury free. So that's what I think that's more important to me, is just to come in without injuries.
Yeah.
And rested. I was really important to come in with rested legs. So my taper, I really, really was careful with the taper. But I like quality miles, not quantity. That's my big thing.
And what do you consider like quality miles? Like, how, is that like 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
I like 5 days a week. I like 2 days rest. Really treasure the rest days. And I like to do like tempo work, speed work. Don't need to do a lot of hill work with Hennepin, but it don't hurt. So.
Yeah, that's like speed work.
Yeah, the speed work's important. I actually was doing a lot of work at Franklin Creek before this, so it was kind of throwing off my training because I was out there a lot volunteering. So I was doing miles out there with elevation gain, and maybe it helped. I don't know. Just strengthening the legs. I didn't want those hills. I wanted to stay in flats. So I kind of got thrown off with that. But
one thing she did learn was she bought a pair of shoes how many months in advance that she was holding till the event. Well, she got into them 2 weeks before, and they had a very random, very super odd defect. And so she called me panicking. Oh my God, I need a pair of shoes. Please tell me you have a pair. And I did. They were ugly. They were not the color that she would normally pick, or that most people would normally pick, but it was the only color I could get at that time. And it was what I just happened to have. And so she ended up running in those. So test your shoes sooner.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, it was like this really weird thing, and I was like, no, it's gonna be fine.
Super
I
weird
think
defect.
it was like 4 weeks because I started running those. Yeah, it was probably 4 weeks before, and I went to do a lawn run in them, like a 20-miler in it, and I was like, oh, it was like rubbing on the top of my foot, and I'm like, if this is driving me nuts at 20 miles, there's no way I'm going to be doing 50 in these. So, because I changed my shoes at 50-mile mark. So, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Test them sooner, because if she didn't have that, I would have been having to go all over trying to find shoes.
Yeah, because I don't think we would have been able to get them. I know for sure we wouldn't have been able to get them in time, but I don't even think they're available to order. And so, yeah, she would have been really screwed.
Yeah, because there's a shoe shortage right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shipping shortage. Yeah.
Shipping's super far behind. And then, yeah, the shoes just aren't up to stock like they have been in the past. So some things can take a really long time to get because they're not there. And then when they're there, there's so many people that are after them at the same time that if you don't get them as soon as they're posted, you're not getting them for another few months. So
Oh my gosh. Is that causing the prices to go up?
Not that I've necessarily noticed. I think prices have been going up slowly anyways. I only have one company that's starting to kind of drop some stuff a little bit. Like they're getting a little bit too, at least for them, they were getting a little bit too expensive in terms of what they normally do. So they started cutting back a little bit, but all the rest of them have been slowly creeping up over the last couple of years anyway. So
yeah,
nothing that I would have specifically put to a shortage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your store. Like what like what do you have going on during the week? What do you carry?
Sure. So we're not like most other running stores. We don't have runners plastered all over our walls, or we don't have a track or anything. We're very much more like boutique style, I guess would be the way that I would say it. As you can tell by our logo behind us, we're mostly barnwood metals and things like that, all reclaimed, all repurposed from farms in our area. So when I say we, Jeff, my fiance, built everything in here. So he built all my display racks and all of the bookcases that we use, our backdrop that we have when you walk in the store. So it's very much boutique style. I don't really pay attention to what a lot of the other stores actually even carry. I kind of do my own thing. It's pretty much based on what we all like. If Jen came in and said, hey, I really, really like this product, I tested it out. And then if I get a second person that tells me the same thing, then I'll start exploring that product. So a lot of it is stuff that we use specifically. It's not always things that you're going to find everywhere. So we have socks and shoes, of course. UFOs, which are the biggie, gutters, which are the other gigantic thing that we always make sure that we have. Oh, that was a fly in the screen. We carry some nutrition products, and all of our nutrition stuff is based on natural or as close to natural as you can get because it's easier on the stomach. What else, Jen? What else am I missing? We have just funky stuff. It's more of like I said, more boutique style is really the direction that we headed. So
all the running belts, the water carriers,
yeah,
cute shirts,
yes,
some fun stuff, I like.
Yes.
And
we're really busy, so no complaints there.
And yeah, I was talking to you like during COVID, and you said that you guys adjusted really well in the community. I mean, I'm not surprised that the community there is fantastic, took care of you.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Of course, the first couple of weeks when you find out you have to shut down your business, which is your full income, and you support your family, that's super scary. But I just sat down and figured out how long we'd be able to make it without any income. We tried to stick to the rules. We weren't open. We didn't allow people to come in and stuff, but we did really make it work. So if somebody messaged me, we would fill their order. I did a ton of porch deliveries. I actually worked more during COVID than I did outside of, even though our doors weren't technically open, just to, get a message, came down to the shop, would do whatever they need. Then you have to just, okay, you got to send them a picture of everything you got. Then you got to figure out how they're going to pay you. And I have every pay app that is out there now because of it. So they would, figure that out. Then I would drop it off at their house, or I would get it mailed out and do all that. Our regulars kept us going during the closure, and they were amazing, making sure that they just were purchasing anything, even if they didn't really need it necessarily. They were buying what they just could restock. And then when we reopened, it was all brand new people. Our downtown Dixon is just a super cool, really nice up and coming area. Our cities worked super, super hard on that. When we were planning the shop and where we wanted to be, we knew we had to be downtown, and it was in 4 blocks. We only had a 4-block area that we could be in, and we made sure we did that. And so when people saw our downtown closed, it was super scary, and so many new people came in, and it has continued being that way. So it worked out. It totally worked out.
Yeah, anybody like listening, they should check out going down to Dixon, because I swear every time I drive through there, there's like a festival going on. I'm like like on the river, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yep. I think there's one in 2 weeks. The Scarecrow Fest is coming up. Yeah.
Well, not to mention here, you can come into the store, and then there is several trails within a few miles radius of this town.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the Castle Rock North Trails, South Trails. You got the Franklin Creek Trails, which I gotta say,
that was all her.
We just got them all cleaned out. They're in the best shape they've ever been in many years. So you can go out there and go check out the trails. Really, really want people to go check that out.
We've got Olive Willow Park, all of our extreme trails. They've been building out there like crazy, just making sure that, they keep adding to it, and you can get lots and lots and lots of miles by us.
Loudon Miller is not far from here. There's 26 miles of trails, I believe, out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just trails everywhere around here. So,
and we really, our shop in general really doesn't necessarily cater to just runners. I would actually say the majority of our clientele is not specifically runners. They're just people who just need direction on wearing a good shoe. That's really a big part of it. We get a lot of people who are beginning activity, whether it be in running or something else, because a lot of our gear can translate well over to other things. We have a couple of running stores in the area, but they really do focus on their bikes, not the other retail stuff of it. We made sure that we weren't carrying the same things that they were, so that we weren't stepping on their business. And but we carry the majority of the stuff that a lot of their clientele would use. And so that's really been, I mean, we're not just even though running's in our name, we get a lot more people than just that.
We get a lot of older people.
We get a lot of
elderly people who want to, they're like, it's so cool, because I've actually I'm like, one lady sticks out in my mind. She's so cute. She's like, I've never bought a good pair of shoes for my feet. My back hurts so bad, and blah, blah. And so she was so excited. Like, we get a few of those, and it's just so cute to see these people just like, oh, and she was tickled about it. Honey, I'm going to go walking. And I'm like, great, good for you. I'm so excited for you. Mm-hmm. So we get a lot of those. They're just cute. I love them.
Yes.
So
that's great. Yeah, everybody needs to go out there and visit. And then Jen, I think that we should brag on what you did at it's Franklin Park, it's called.
Oh, yeah.
I've been following you doing this, and tell everybody a little bit on what you set up.
Well, it started with Grace, kind of.
Yeah.
She wanted me to join the Franklin Creek Association or something.
See, this is what happens when you're around me. So I'm on the board of Franklin Creek, which I kind of got sucked into like very randomly. I did not know what I was getting into, and it was a little overwhelming to start, but I've gotten my grounds there. But Franklin Creek is about 15 minutes from us, and just town over, just a tiny little town. I don't even know how many people live in Franklin Grove. Not very many.
Really
it's
small.
A tiny little
really small
spot. And so half their property is IDNR owned, and half their property is privately owned through Franklin Creek, but they have this whole thing around it. But anyway, so they've got a ton of trails and a ton of stuff. So they were looking for people. I knew that Jen at one point had wanted to volunteer, and but it had kind of fallen through the cracks because they were in the change of executive team and all of that kind of stuff. So her application had kind of fallen through the cracks. So then when I got involved, I'm like, hey, you got to get this person. So poor Jen got sucked into it that way.
Right.
And then another friend of ours, Dan Stumpenhorst, who I mentioned earlier, made the chicken noodle soup. he had been wanting to have an event there forever, had mapped it out, had done all this stuff, but just didn't have the backing behind him to actually physically plan it. I mean, he had it all figured out for the most part, but just needed to do that final piece of it. And so Jen, myself, which I honestly was not really involved in it at all, but Jen, myself, Dan, and the executive director, Heather, we had Zoom meetings. Most of the time I would have to step away because of course that's when I would have a customer come in. So Jen took the lead on that part of it. She did a lot of the stewardship cleanup. Her and Dan showed up with tools and just
Big
I
tools.
was in this one spot with the nettles that sting you and do all that kind of stuff. I was like tiptoeing around, like, what am I getting into? Why am I here? And she's got a mosquito net on, and she's got these tools, and she's just in it, just totally in it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to touch that. But our trails look absolutely amazing out there. It has never looked that good. In fact, that to the point where, the state wasn't giving it its regular maintenance that it should, blah, blah, blah. But they came out once they recognized how much work was being done and have really stepped it up out there too. So yeah, that was all Jen and Dan.
Yeah, we did a lot. It was heavy equipment, like to me, heavy, like carrying up, and like you're going a couple miles up a big embankment and you're trying to carry this stuff. You're like, ugh. That's when you realize a runner, your upper strength is terrible. And you're like, oh no. So we did that, and it was a lot. It was a lot of work, but the nettles were all the way up to my shoulders. And we had one volunteer with us the one day, and I remember, like, we're going to clean this trail right here today. And she said, what trail? I'm like, trust me, it's behind us. And like, that's how bad it was. You didn't know unless you knew the trails.
Yeah.
And so they were that overgrown. And so got nettle in my ear one day.
I was sitting with you, and she's like, oh my God, my ear is really hurting right now.
It was probably the worst. It goes through your pants. So it hurts, but it's gone for now. And we have plans to be out there in the spring to keep that trail open. I used to go through there and train, and you would see absolutely no one in there at all. You'd be by yourself. And it was like almost emotional to see like families coming in through there with their kids that you never would have saw on those back trails. And I was like, oh my gosh, the trails are getting used. This is so worth it. Like all this hard work is so worth it. I wanted it for the race, but I want it for people too. And that's where like, that's where, and you're just trying to lead by example for our trail stewardship and just be like, we got to keep our trails open and clean. So
that is
amazing.
I love that story. That makes me so happy.
The
really great teamwork. All of you guys did that.
Oh yeah.
And we had almost 100 people sign up for our race.
Yeah. It
Yay.
what was it? 3 weeks before, maybe a month, but I think it was closer to 3 weeks before we were considering canceling it because the registration was just super low. And then we set up a preview run, of course, on a day that both of us could be there, because that's the problem, is that if the shop's open, only one of the two of us can be there. So we set
hire somebody.
So we set it up on a day that we both could be there, so that we had that. And by the end of that weekend, the registration had gone up enough to at least be like, okay, we're not canceling it. And then it just kept going and kept going from there. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
I think something that's really cool about your shop, Grace, is like if there's a really big event in town and you want to go support it, you're like, we're closed. I'm going to go support these guys here.
Yep. We really try. I tried not to do that super often. I mean, we really need to be consistent, but yes, if it is something that's important to us, then it's like, you know what's one day? It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, we do that.
Yeah, I think
it has to be one of the two of us. So sometimes we're like, you know what? We both really want to do that thing. Neither of us want to give it up, so we're gonna go.
Yeah. It just shows how committed you are to, helping your community. That's why everybody loves you guys, and you are doing so well.
Yes. Yeah. It's been great.
Yeah, that's great.
First 3.5 years. I can't believe it.
Oh, yeah. I remember when it started.
Yeah. When I called you in a panic because I didn't like my logo and I didn't know what to do. And I had to do it because I had just resigned that day. It It was like, I'm resigning from my job and I have to announce what I'm doing. Like, I have to figure out something now. And you put me in touch with Leslie, and it all went down from there. It was perfect.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Leslie is amazing. She just designed a logo for something I'm working on here for Crystal Lake Park Foundation, and it's so beautiful. And I mean, she's just so talented.
Yeah. All I gave her was that I wanted it to say Dixon, Illinois on it, and that it needed to be in a circle. That was all I gave her, and she did that beautiful logo out of it.
Yeah.
And she has like a reason for each line. She like asked me one time, she's like, what does each line mean to you? And I was like, I don't know. It's a really cool logo. I don't know. And she had a meaning for each individual line and exactly what it signifies and all that, which was pretty cool. So
Yeah, we're really lucky that she helps us out.
She does. She's amazing.
I wonder if we should we do the Ornery Mule Stubborn 5 is going to take longer than normal. I think that might be fun to do now, Crystal.
Okay, sure, we can do it. So you just have to figure out who's going to answer first, okay? There's just 5 questions. The first one is, what is something about you that people may not know?
Wait, is this running related or anything?
Anything.
My family has connections to Albert Einstein.
Oh.
Google search Ehrmann, Ehrmann. You'll find it.
I'm gonna do it.
Ehrmann and Einstein, and you'll find stuff. You'll find pictures and everything.
That's
awesome.
Cool. I like that one. That's a good one.
Thanks. Then someone would not know about me. Oof. I want them to know.
That's up to you.
I mean, I want to release my nerd status here, but when I'm not running and it's winter, I'm a gamer. I'm a girl gamer.
Nice.
What games do you play?
Shooter games.
Yay!
Oh, just like the game. Like to get on there and just lose my mind, just a couple hours of my life just gone in the game.
That's okay.
I get my kids though, so I feel like it's a good excuse because it's
there. You go. Right. All right. Next question is, what are your favorite hobbies besides running
or gaming?
Or gaming.
Binging.
Oh yeah, we're both Netflix bingers, terrible, and we constantly are shooting messages to each other of like, "Hey, I just finished. I watched this whole thing today."
But wait, I'm only in episode 3. Shh, don't tell me.
Oh yeah.
What have you binged lately?
Maid. Yeah, Maid on Netflix.
Oh,
Maid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I finished it yesterday. She is on episode 3. She was actually worked yesterday and was stamping bags while she watched it.
Nice.
Yeah. I decorated the window. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Next question. Oh, I just lost them. Hello. Next question is, do you have anyone that you look up to?
Well, I mean, of course.
I can say in the running world, I look up to Keith Rand.
Yep, I would be right there with
Yay,
you.
Keith! We love Keith.
My best friends. We met when I rear-ended him quite a few years back. And then I saw him like just a few months later when he was a chaperone on a trip that I was going on when I was in high school. We went to Europe and he walked up to me at the airport and he's like, "You look really familiar to me. Were you in a car accident not that long ago?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we've been friends ever since.
Awesome.
He's just a good spirited person.
He is.
You just can't not just love him to pieces.
I absolutely love having him around.
Yeah. He's an incredible guy for sure.
He really is.
All right. Next question is, what is something that you're looking forward to? Does not have to be running related.
I'm looking forward to the Christmas season. I think this year it's going to be quite a bit different from last year in terms of retail side of things. Last year we didn't know what to expect with all the COVID stuff, and I think this year's going to be exhausting. It's going to be super, super exhausting like it always is in the retail world, but I think it's going to be a ton of fun. So
Cool.
I don't know, because I'm like on the down low of I was really looking forward to Hennepin. Like my whole life was like for the past 6
Yeah.
months, a real race. Like so right now I'm just kind of like, what am I looking forward to? I really don't know.
well, you love Christmas. You were planning our window decorations earlier today.
Yeah, sure.
Well, are you gonna come back to Hennepin now and earn the new rabbit flannel? Because did you hear that Rabbit is sponsoring the race? So next year we're gonna have a Rabbit brand flannel.
No, she's not, because she's going to be working it next year.
I love your races. I love your races. I'm gonna do some of your other races, but I don't know if I'm gonna do Hennepin again.
Not even for the Rabbit flannel.
No, I think I'll look at it from afar and go, "That's awesome, good job."
So you'll be on the lounge, the blow up lounge.
Yep.
Ouch! That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, last question is, what is your favorite treat for a job well done? You can show your cans if you want to. That counts. Yeah.
There's been a few nights we were actually on a meeting for the gristmill grind.
Oh.
And it was on Zoom, of course, and we're texting each other separately. I don't remember what happened, but I could tell on her face something had happened at home or whatever, so we were texting each other. And then we ended up going out and getting a cherry bomb blonde afterwards, which then turned into we needed a ride home. Which we don't do very often. No. Both of us will have a drink, and that's kind of it. But yeah, and I was like, well, I guess we're gonna get a ride home.
I look forward to moments like that. They happen every once in a great while,
and they're super
nice.
fun.
Yeah, they're deserved.
So what are you drinking? What's it called?
Cherry bomb blonde.
And where is that from?
Front Street Brewery in Davenport.
Oh, cool. Okay.
They're our favorite.
Nice. That sounds good. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, it's really good. It's our go-to.
Yep.
Nice.
So,
cool.
Is it wrong that that's our
I don't know.
reward? Is it beer? Like,
no.
Sound like we drink.
Somebody's gonna be like, all right, they just need beer. So these are easy volunteers right here.
Exactly. Right, that's all you need.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, will you volunteer for beer? Absolutely. Yes, I will.
I mean, I'll volunteer for food, so it's all good.
I'm like, call me.
That too.
I'm on. Yep.
Oh, that's good. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Was that the last one for the Stubborn 5?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So you guys passed. You got an A+.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Was there anything that you wanted to share before we sign out here?
I just want to say, I absolutely want to say thank you for the race. It was a great experience. I loved Hennepin 100. If anyone's seen my pictures, and I mean, I can't hide the emotions that I have at a finish line, but it was just so, I look back at them and go, oh my gosh, just a lifetime memory that you provided to me. And I'm sure many others can agree with me. Thank you. And the volunteers that were all part of it made that race and brought me to that finish line. You guys are awesome. If you're listening, I can't thank you enough for giving me that lifetime memory. So thank you. You guys got to do it if you've not done it. It's an awesome race. So
it's really special, and the volunteers
you're awesome. I mean, your volunteers at races that's what makes the races. I mean, it does. It's the volunteers. I mean, that and a good race director. I mean, that helps too. You at the finish. I like the giggling photo with you and I.
Yeah.
I know what I was saying at the finish too. I said to you, I'm kind of cussed you out a few times out there, Michelle.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, sometimes my name is a swear word.
It's okay. I loved you at the end. That's all that matters, right?
Right.
Yeah, then you're like, that was fun. Yay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then make sure to stop in sometime in Dixon at Stonebridge Running. We would love to meet everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I mean, I love both of you so much, and we Crystal has been so excited to have you on. She's just been absolutely dying, and
I know. Well, I love, I love the Yetis. It's such a great, amazing group of people. Anytime I go out to Dixon, I'm like, welcomed with open arms. I love Stonebridge Running. I don't get there as much as I want to because I live an hour away, but I get there when I can, and they always have good stuff. And Kaylee always ends up buying stuff too. So it's a good time. Good store, good group of people, just amazing.
Yeah, really, seriously, the Yetis are just amazing. Everybody
Right.
there, so amazing.
It's such an awesome, awesome group of people to be involved with. And yes, we've spent a lot of hours together, all these Yetis and in different events and traveling and everything. And it's always been great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
cheers. Here, I'll do the water cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye.